Hello traders, welcome to another top-down analysis of the VIX indices. So in this video, I'll be breaking down two VIX indices, which is VIX 100 1S and VIX 100. So when it comes to volatility, so Forex in general, you do not need to trade a lot of pairs, just one or two, so that you understand the level it respects. And then this also gives you confidence. So for me, I personally only trade these two because I understand them and I understand the levels that these two indices respects. So let us begin as usual. We start our analysis from the weekly time frame. We start from the weekly time frame. We start by marking our supply and demand zones. So that is the supply zone. The supply zone. And then down here we have our demand zone. So down here we have our demand zone. That is our demand zone. And then from the weekly time frame, you can be able to see that price has been moving from supply to the demand zone. However, it's not yet at the demand zone. So our so the market direction is bearish because price is breaking structures to the downside. However, we are not yet at the demand. So that is all we do in the weekly time frame. And then if we go to the daily time frame, we can be able to mark our supply and our resistance and support levels. So that is a resistance level. So that is a resistance level. So this is our resistance level up there. And then we have the support that is preventing price from going to our demand zone. That is going to our demand zone. So that is our support level. So that is our support level. So right now, as you can see, this is quite a strong resistance level. So right now, for us to be able to place buys, price price have to go and for us to be able to place buys on this VIX 100 1S, price has to go and break that high. Then that will be a then that will be a then that will be a break of structure, and then we can now we can place buys if that should happen. However, if price does not break that resistance level, then we're going to look for change of character at that resistance level, and then we'll continue selling, because as you can see, this is a level that has been holding since April. So it's quite a strong resistance level. It has been holding from April to now September. So check out at that resistance level, we are waiting for a change of character, and then we'll continue selling, because the overall trend from our weekly time frame, we can be able to see that it's in a downtrend. It's just that this support which is holding the price from coming to this demand zone. And then if we go to the 4-hour time frame, to the 4-hour time frame, from the 4 hours, can be able to see that price, this was the last break of structure before price went to go and step into our resistance. That was the last break of structure. That was the break of structure, and then that is our order block. However, price did not react from that order block. That is our order block. Instead, price reacted off the fair value gap. Price reacted off FVG. As we can see, price is still breaking structures to the upside. Price is breaking structures to the outside. We go to the 1 hour, that's what we have. That is what we have. So price stepped into our first, it came and tapped into the FVG. FVG did not dish out a strong move. However, it just dished out these few candles, and then it came back to tap into the order block that dished out this move. So this is what I'm anticipating, looking from the daily time frame. I'm anticipating for a change of character at that resistance level, and then for price to come back down. So that is what I'm anticipating. So we should watch out for a change of character, for price to continue moving down, or for a break of structure. Price needs to go and break this resistance level so that it can continue to this supply zone. So currently there is no trade on VIX 100. So those are the possibilities. You just have to watch out and see what price is doing. So there was a break of structure right there. So price is just broken that high. So that is a break of structure. So that is a break of structure. And then that is the order block. That is the order block, which caused that break of structure. However, price did not react from that order block. Instead, it reacted from the fair value gap, from that fair value gap, from that fair value gap, from that fair value gap. So currently price is still breaking structures to the upside, but watch out for price at this level before you take your next line of action, because price might just decide to reverse at this level and then continue moving down, or it might break that high, it might break that high and then continue proceeding up. So right now there is no trade for us. You just have to wait and see what the market will dish out to you. Don't chase the market. Always wait for price to show you its intention before you take your next line of action. So that is it for VIX 100 1S. And then if we go to volatility 100 1S, as always, we start on the weekly time frame by marking our supply and the demand zones. So that is our supply zone. That is our supply zone. Supply zone. And we have our demand zone right here, where price has been reacting for the past month. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. 4 weekly candlesticks will give you 1 monthly candlestick. So price has been reacting from that demand zone, from the demand zone. So from the weekly time frame, you can already tell the bias, because this is quite a strong level. It's from a weekly time frame. Whenever price gets this demand, it always buys. It always buys. So now we are back to this demand zone. So the bias on VIX 100 is bullish. So you should look for buys on VIX 100, because we are moving from a major level, which is a demand zone, a weekly level. So that's what I'm anticipating for price to push up until that supply zone. So the bias on VIX 100 is bullish, so you should place buys. That is all from the weekly time frame. And then if we go to the daily time frame, from the daily time frame, price is still currently reacting at this demand zone. But from the daily, we can be able to mark the resistance that is holding price. That is a resistance level. That is a resistance. That is a resistance level from the daily time frame. So if we study the recent price action, we can be able to see that is a break of structure. Price is still breaking structures to the upside. So we are pretty much in an uptrend. Break of structure. And then price is reacting at our order block on the daily time frame. At our order block from the daily time frame. So currently, there's no trade because this is the resistance that is holding price from moving up. So because our bias is bullish, we are going to wait for price to first break that high. Price to break that high, that will be a break of structure. We are waiting for price to break that high. That will be a break of structure. This is basically what we are waiting for. I need to see price breaking that high and then come back and mitigate the order block, which will cause that break of structure and then proceed up. So that is what I'm waiting for on VIX 100. But yes, let's go to the 4-hour time frame to be able to see. So from the 4-hour time frame, that is the order block from the 4-hour time frame. As you can see, price violated that order block. Instead, it came back to this demand zone from the weekly time frame, which I'm now going to call support. So that is our support. So it looks like we are getting some rejections, looking like price is still coming back to this level before it continues. But yes, let us study the price action in 1 hour. So there was a break of structure at that level. That is a break of structure. And then price is currently reacting at that order block. At that order block. At that order block. So for us to be able to place a trade on VIX 100, price needs to go and break that high so that we are going to have a break of structure. So that we are going to have a break of structure. However, from the look of things, price is rejecting at that resistance. Price is price is forming a tweezer top at that level. Looks like it might reverse and come back to this support level still. But let's just watch the price because we have broken a high. We're just waiting for price to break that high. Now, should the price decides to break that higher low, then that will be then that will be a change of character. Then that will be a change of character, and then we can place buys should that happen. If price decides to break this lower high, that will be a change of character. Then that will give us an indication that price is about to reverse, then to come back at this support level. However, if price does not break this lower high, this higher low, then we are pretty much still in an uptrend, and we might go and break that high at that resistance level. So that is what I'm waiting for. Currently, there is no entry, but yes, that is what you should wait for. We should wait for price to go and break that high so that it becomes a break of structure, and then we'll continue pushing up. However, should price break that higher low, then we'll have a change of character, and then we'll be able to place sales until at this support level. So that is all, traders. That is how I do my top-down analysis every week. So every week we'll be meeting on Sundays, where I'll be breaking down the market, and then I'll be giving you trading opportunities for the week. All right, that is all, traders. If you did get something out of this video, consider subscribing to the channel, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment in the comment section, and I will see you in our next market top-down analysis, which is next week again. Happy trading.